Yeah, hello everyone. So today we are going to see the topic, what is psychology? What's the definition of a psychology? Nature of psychology we are going to study today. So as you can see in this slide, so what is psychology? So generally the word psychology is derived from two Greek roots. So first one is psych, P-S-Y-C-H-E, that is called as psych. The meaning is nothing but a mind. And logos, the second half part is the logos, which means the study or knowledge. So together the psychology is nothing but study of mind. So psychology is a science which studies mental and behavior functioning in a systematic manner using some scientific methods. A set of scientific methods will be there. Through that one, we will study the mental and behavior of the functioning, how we will be functioning. Then usually the people who practices this field is called as a psychologist. So this psychologist describe, predict, control the processes like a perception, a motivation, cognition, memory, learning, personality, and intelligence. So what does that mean? Perception. So perception is nothing but a way in which something is regarded, or it can be understood, or it can be interpreted. Something is regarded, understood, or interpreted is nothing but a perception. Whereas, what does this mean about motivation? It is nothing but we should be enslaving our goals. So that is nothing but a desire to what we say. There's a desire to act uh, in the service of some goal. Okay, in service of some goal, if you desire to act that one, so that is nothing but a motivation. Or in a simple way, we can say it is nothing but a process that guides us, that maintains the goal-oriented behavior inside us is called as a motivation. So that motivation needs to be there. The next term I said is a cognition. So what is this cognition? It is nothing but a mental action or a process of acquiring a knowledge and understanding through the thoughts, experiences, through the senses, through various senses we apply. We just acquire some knowledge. So that is called as a cognizance. Then memory, learning, personality, and intelligence, all this comes under this particular psychological, the science of psychology, we can say that one. So this comes under the psychology. So as professionals, usually this psychologists, they apply psychological knowledge towards the solution of a real world problem or real life problems of a people in various settings, including like a schools, industries, hospitals, or various other organizations. All this people has to be managed. So that is nothing but dealing with the people's minds is nothing but a psychology. So because of this reason, this psychological aspects or psychological methodologies are popularly adopted in all the various setups like schools, industries, hospitals, and organization. So as this is a growing discipline, so its arms or its limbs are just expanding like anything. Why? Because so that's why this psychological field is called as a psychotic octopus. Why? Because its limbs are just expanding day by day. So different fields of psychology are emerging day by day. So as a growing discipline, so psychology is expanding across various branches, which specializes in providing psychological services in different walks of our life. So that's why psychology is very, very, very important. Then recent advancements in the neurological sciences or neurosciences, we can say. Then the study of cultures and collaboration with other disciplines. Okay, all this shapes and development encourages the development of this psychological branch through a very important way. So as we can see, the recently came out the policy, that national education policy, that is encouraging a multidisciplinary aspect, that is encouraging us holistic development. Means not only through the intellectual, we have to develop through all the dimensions. When you are developing through all the dimensions, the behavior, the mindset is very, very important. So in this current scenario, the mindset where the mindsets are very, very important, under such conditions, psychology has to play a very important role in that one. So the word psychology, as I said, it has been originated from two Greek words. Psych means mind, and logos means a study or a knowledge. Is called as a together. It is called as a psychology. So the basis of the psychology is nothing but an curiosity. To curiosity to know the other things, like curiosity about inner working of the mind. Okay, then excitement to know about others, okay, to know about other human beings. All this forms a basis for curiosity, forms a basis for this psychological branch. And curiosity about the inner working of the mind has probably existed from since the human first began to communicate with others, no? Then this curiosity has been emerged. This psychological branches has been emerged. Therefore, the psychology recognizes that everybody has their own emotions, their own set of behaviors that are distinct from each other. So nobody's behavior, nobody's psychological sets will match with one another. But there is a distinctiveness. The study of that distinctiveness in mind is called as a psychology. So psychology is nothing but a study of a mental process and behavior. So why we have to study the mental process and behavior? What is this mental process? Everything will be seeing in that one. So the term also, the psychology term also refers to the application of that knowledge to various realms of our human life. So including this mentally dysfunctioned people, then education setups and businesses, everything will use this principles of psychology. So it will study all the mental disorders which are there in the particular organizational setup. So I am saying about the mental process. So what does that mean? A mental process. So this mental process are nothing but, and which is a description which will describe the activity of our brains when we are engaging in thinking, observing the environment, and also using our languages. So if you are using a your native language, okay, native language, then what happens? Your mental process will be somewhat activated already. Okay, you know all the things. But when you are using a non-native language, so you will be just afraid of something else like that. So the behavior of studying, whenever you are using a language, whenever you are engaged in some thinking, whenever you are observing the environment, all this comes under the experimental learning or mental processes. This are called. So mental processes, which includes very complex experiences. So in a day-to-day life, we will be experiencing very complex um, experiences like joy, like love, and even we can say this act of lying. Okay, people usually will lie with each other. Why? Because that's their mental process. When we are admiring somebody, our behavior is different. When we are in anger, our behavior will be different. When we are friendlily gesturing to somebody else, our behavior will be different. When we are fearing of many phobias, so our behavior will be different. When we are in love, when we are in joy, our behavior will be different. When we are jealous, when we are concerned about others, when we are eager to say something helpful, excited, elated, happy, then it's a completely different set of behaviors, completely different mental processes will be there inside our brains, which are running throughout that particular emotional situations. And frustration, anxious, irritated, all these are the emotional situations which are very, 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 very complex behaviors. So during this psychological early history, so the primary method of exploring the internal mental process was to observe outward behavior. So we will be observing the outward behavior. Then our observable action and making inferences or guesses about what was happening in the mind. So from that one, a curiosity will be emerged. So since psychology became an experimental science in the 19th century, so however, the psychological researchers have sought more direct ways to examine the mental process. So in fact, we can say in the present decade, whatever we are experiencing now, from the past 10 years. So the advent of brain imaging and other forms of technology as enabling the scientist to uncover the fascinating connections between behavior and our mind process or mental process, and to move towards a more comprehensive view of our mental process occurs in various individuals and various situations. So that's what the beauty of this particular psychological field, where we can study our mental process. We can go through all the processes which we are experiencing in our day-to-day life, in the various realms of our particular life. We can experience everything. We can discuss everything. We can discern everything. That's what I want to say. The psychology. What do you mean by psychology? So that's what. Thank you very much for the listening. So please do subscribe this channel and support me. Thank you very much.